Hey, what's going on, guys? Glade here, and welcome back to another video. Now, in today's video, I have a pretty great video planned for you all. Today, we are going to be building a Crown Tundra, the Pokemon Crown Tundra DLC rain team for you all, and I'm going to be telling you what mons are going to be going on a rain team, what mons are basically what a really good meta-defining rain team is going to look like for VGC 2021 or Series 7. So before I get into this video, I just want to thank basically everyone that has been supporting the channel this far. The channel's been doing really well. I'm actually surprised, but I do want to try to hit 100k, let's say before the end of November. So if you could smash that subscribe button, that'd be really helpful, because I'm trying to push more content to you guys, because we are getting that spicy new DLC soon. And like the video if you liked it, because that tells YouTube I'm a good YouTuber, and that's kind of nice. But before we get into today's video, I'm just going to give some context. So why am I making, out of anything to talk about, why am I talking about sun? You know, why am I talking about rain? I could be talking about sun, I could be talking about, hey, here's how to build a sand team. And I'm really not going to be making, here's how to build sun, here's how to build sand, because I'm not really used to those archetypes. I'm not used to playing sand, I'm not used to playing sun, but what I am used to is playing rain, and I'm going to tell you why. So if you guys have been a little long time viewer of the channel, you will know that I made a lot of videos for season 5, and among those videos I used this team right here, consisting of Pelipper, Incineroar, Rillaboom, Kingdra, Togekiss, and Magnezone. And I actually used this team to get to 1795 on the ladder. Now, currently, I think I'm 1605 or 1612, so I did drop a little bit, but I almost pushed 1800, one battle away from 1800. So this team actually was really good, and I just really liked it. I built it at the beginning of the season. I improved it as time went on, and this is what it transformed into. And not only did my accomplishment stop at 1795, there is this online tournament called the Mount Silver Pokecaster Network Charity Tournament. Now, this had 91 players, as you can see, 91 players, and you can see that name right there. That is me. I ended up winning it. So I won it with this team right here, which is a rain team, which is why I feel like I'm going to make this video, because I feel like I'm qualified enough to talk about rain and to talk about what's going to be good with rain. And I guess we're talking about rain as going into the DLC. What is my opinion of rain before we even get into building this? What do I think are going to be its strengths and weaknesses? I'm going to say it this way. I don't exactly know, but I will say that I think they're going to be, I don't think it's going to be as good as it was in Series 5. And even in Series 5, it was a niche. But I still think if you tech it right and if you build it right, it can be meta-defining. Or not meta-defining, but it can be really good. So, because the Tapus are coming back, Tapu's kind of just dumpster rain. So you do have to watch out for that. Also, we have a bunch of walls coming back. Stuff like, we have Kartana coming back. We have Celesteela coming back. Now, Celesteela doesn't want to eat a Hydro Pump, but, you know, Celesteela is still that wall. And we have Gastrodon might see some usage. You know, there are some disadvantages to using this. And also, we're going to see Venusaur. We're going to see Venusaur usage return, I feel. Or, you know, somewhat. And, you know, it's not perfect, but we're going to build a team that's going to be so good. Now, the first Pokemon that we want, and we are going to be using National Dex AG, so we can just see all of the Pokemon that we're going to talk about. Now, we will also level them to level 50, but the first Pokemon that we want for our team is going to be Politoed. Now, there are a few reasons why. Now, I actually used Pelipper. I used Pelipper in my original rain team that did really well, and Pelipper did not have good usage at all. I think it was less than 1%. And I feel like I was talking to some of the commentators for the event, and they were really surprised I was using Pelipper. And the reason why I was using Pelipper was it was a better counter to Rillaboom. It's a better counter to Rillaboom than Politoed. Politoed didn't deal well with Rillaboom at all, and I'd be forced to run a Rindo Berry if I want to live a Rillaboom hit. But with Pelipper, I could live a Rillaboom hit and hit back with a stab super effective Hurricane. that would just, if it wasn't AV, it would one-shot, and if it was AV, it'd probably do a good 80%. So that's why I decided to use Pelipper, but we're using Politoed, even though we are having Kartana come back and whatnot. I feel like for this team, the extra bulk is going to be important. And also, we had new Tailwind setters, or supposed Tailwind setters. We'll have to see what they're if they learn Tailwind in Gen 8, but this is all a supposed video. I mean, everything's supposed at this point, so if Amon doesn't get a move I'm talking about, that might completely change how this team functions. I just wanted to put that out there. But Politoed acts as more of a defensive backbone to the team, while Pelipper was more of an offensive backbone that could use Tailwind. But since we're getting new Tailwind mons that are actually going to work and operate well under Rain, we don't need Pelipper for that function anymore, so that's why we're going to be using Politoed. Now, for EVs for Politoed, I'm honestly not good with EVs, so we are going to be using Pikalytics.com, or Pikalytics.com to show us the EV spread. So we are going to go to Series 5 Battle Stadium Doubles, and we're going to click on Politoed. Politoed has a 3.52% usage rate. Now, some things to know. Politoed gets, we're not going to go into specific moves yet. We're just going to kind of outline what Pokemon are going to be good. Now, we have many Swift Swimmers that are going to be returning with the Crown Tundra. So we're just going to be outlining all of the Pokemon, and then we'll be getting into the specifics of the items. So we have many Pokemon that are returning that are going to be good. So we have many Swift Swim Pokemon that are returning from the Crown Tundra. Armaldo, Carracosta, Kabutops even. Amistar's coming back. I think Poliwrath's already in the game, but a lot of good ones. But really, in my opinion, the only Swift Swimmer that's going to be worth running is still going to be Kingdra. Let's see if I can find Kingdra here. I should be able to find Kingdra. Here it is. Kingdra has all around good bulk. It doesn't have the best offensive, but it has good bulk, great speed, and here's the thing: it has really nice dual stabs. Because most of the other Swift Swimmers are rock types. So if you want to max your Swift Swimmer, which is a good idea because, I mean, that's going to be probably your fastest and probably most offensive Pokemon. If you go for a max Rockfall, you're canceling out your Rain, therefore neutralizing, or getting rid of those, that speed boost from Swift Swim, and also making it so other water type Pokemon like Politoed, Skull won't do much. So pretty much that eliminates half of the Swift Swimmers in the format, and you're left with Pokemon like Ludicolo and Seismitoad. Although I just think Kingdra has better typing, and it is just better suited for Rain. There's a reason why if you saw Rain, it was only Kingdra. But we have Politoed and Kingdra here, and actually going back, we're going to be referencing my old team a lot because I still feel, even though a lot of new Pokemon are added, a lot of the same Pokemon are going to be good on Rain. So the next Pokemon we are actually going to be looking at is Rillaboom. Now, the reason why we are looking at Rillaboom is if you think about Politoed and you think about Kingdra, they're weak to electric moves. Well, okay, Kingdra specifically isn't, but Tapu Koko though. So these two are weak to Tapu Koko, but you know what beats a Tapu Koko? Something like a Rillaboom. And you know what really beats a Tapu Koko? Something like an Assault Vest Rillaboom. So Rillaboom's also great because it overrides terrains. And I told you in the beginning that Tapus can be a problem for Rain. So being able to override those terrains is very good. Now Rillaboom also, you can run an Assault Vest set, which is actually the one I recommend. Now we're going to get into the specifics later on, but I just want to say an Assault Vest set is the set that I would go for in my humble opinion here. Although I did use Mongo Berry in the past, that's because my Magnezone had the Assault Vest. I think Assault Vest Rillaboom is it's just really good for this team and allows it to deal with electric types a lot better. It has a wide variety of moves that you can choose from, which we will get into as we tailor the team. So now you're looking at this and you're thinking, okay, well this team has and this team really, other than maybe a potential Icy Wind and Kingdra Swift Swim, this team has no way to have, or it doesn't have any form of speed control. And if you're running Icy Wind on Politoed, you're taking up an important move slot of Politoed because it has many moves, many support moves that you may want to run. So another important Pokemon that you have to think about Rain is what Pokemon, what Pokemon's going to benefit the most from Rain, or if I can have a Pokemon that has Tailwind. can it do anything else in rain? And we're getting a new Pokemon, or we're getting a returning Pokemon known as Zapdos. I mean, I know you've all heard of this, but Zapdos got Thunder, or I think it already had Thunder, but it got, well, okay. It learned Thunder and Hurricane. And you know what Thunder and Hurricane do? They are 100% accurate. No, they're not even 100% accurate. They cannot miss in the rain. So you have two moves that are base 110 power. Strong moves coming off a 125 special attack stat. Not to mention, Thunder has 30% chance to paralyze. Hurricane has 30% chance to confuse, I believe. And this Pokemon gets Tailwind. Incredibly good. And considering that Rain is actually weak to grass types like Kartana, like Rillaboom. And you know what, and like Tapu Bulu, you know what Zapdos says? I'm a Hurricane every single one of you boys. And it does it well because 100% accurate under rain. So Zapdos is going to be an incredible mon to add to the team because it has really good dual stat, powerful dual stat, powerful special attack stat, great additional, I guess, side effects for its moves, and it has speed, control, and a great typing to help support our other Pokemon to help alleviate some of that grass weakness. Because you can say, yes, well, Rillaboom is a grass resistance. It really doesn't, it's not going to do incredible. It's not going to do well against the grass types that are going to be in VGC 2021, like Kartana, like Tapu Bulu, and other Rillaboom. I mean, Rillaboom v Rillaboom, it's kind of awkward, right? So Zapdos is a really nice Pokemon to have on the team. And you can also, with the hidden ability patch that's going to be added in Pokemon Sword or in the Crown Tundra, you can get Static. So you could switch on a potential Fake Out, and you have a 30% chance of having the target being paralyzed, which also helps with speed control. You see what I mean? Zapdos is a no-brainer in my opinion if you are using a rain team. Now, what I will say is, I loved Magnezone. I loved Magnezone. For my old rain team, I used Magnezone, and for this team right here, the team that we're building, I'm not going to be using Magnezone. The reason why I liked Magnezone in my old teams is because this thing was an absolute monster. This thing could one-shot G-Maxes. Okay, yeah, this thing one-shot like a G-Max Cinderace with electric terrain up. This thing, I used Magnezone in the IC, and I'm pretty sure I qualified in top 256 in North America. I Dynamaxed this thing in front of Cinderaces, and I won. Just because I know how to use Magnezone, I know how players are going to react to Magnezone, and therefore I can just outplay them. But and really good because Steel, you know, it's weak to fire, but Kingdra and Pelipper covered for it. But in this team specifically, because we have Zapdos, and Zapdos gets great dual stab, Tailwind, and it provides a really good check to those grass type mons. Because remember, Tapu Bulu and Rillaboom both get high horsepower, so I really had to play my Magnezone carefully, you know, and I really had to support it right. But with Zapdos hits them for incredible amounts of damage and doesn't take too much in return because it has a decent base 85 defense. So if you invest a little bit in defense, you're going to be good. All right. I think I've talked enough about that. So now we're looking at this team and you're thinking to yourself, okay, well, you have Tailwind support, but you know, what happens if you lose the Weather War? Well, the plan is we're not going to lose the Weather War. That's why, because this next Pokemon is going to allow us to keep the weather up at pretty much any given situation while also providing great extra bulk to our team. So maybe we can invest a little bit more in offense, or maybe just keep some bulk on our Pokemon, but just have such a bulky board that can just output a bunch of damage and can control the pace of the game with this Pokemon. Now, what Pokemon I'm talking about? Well, you have to insert it into your card to start it. It's Klefki. Now, Klefki, and I'm not saying this because I want this team to be unique. I was actually spent quite a bit of time thinking about how to make the best rain team, and I came to the conclusion of using Klefki because Klefki, not only is it a good dual screens user, I can set up those screens for 8 turns with Light Clay. I guess we'll go over some of the moves just really briefly, and then we'll kind of go through. I'm going to go through some of the Pokemon and explain why I'm using them, because let's say I would just go through this entire list and just tell you, okay, I'm choosing Klefki, and then I'll move on. You might have so many questions, you know what I mean? But Klefki gets this one move. It's called Rain Dance. So Klefki gets Prankster Rain Dance. And I feel like a lot of people don't know about Klefki. Klefki gets Rain Dance. And this thing gets Sunny Day. It's weird. But Rain Dance allows us to always keep up that rain and maybe even reset it for later. And not only is this, okay, think about this. Not only is this good for Kingdra, this Rain Dance benefits every single Pokemon on our team. If we don't have rain up, and we have a Politoed in right now, and they have sand, and they have a Tyranitar, Klefki can go for Rain Dance, change it to rain, boost the power of Politoed's water type moves, and neutralize and negate the special defense boost effects of sand from the Tyranitar, because Tyranitar is coming back because of the rules. Kingdra, you can activate its system ability. Rillaboom, you reduce the damage, you half the damage of fire type attacks to it, and then it can hit it with like a high horsepower or something. Zapdos, you make it so it's both of its stabs have 100% accuracy. So already you can see Klefki just ties really well into the team. And remember, now I know a lot of people, if you're looking for a dual screen spawn that is not Grimmsnarl, people go with Meowstic. And while Meowstic is pretty good, I'm saying Klefki is going to be better for this position, just because if you were to add Meowstic, grass types are going to be really popular. Grass types and Tapus are going to be extremely popular. So we're talking about Tapu Koko, we're talking about Tapu Fini, Tapu Lele, and Tapu Bulu, and some other grass types like Kartana and Rillaboom. And Meowstic doesn't resist those grass types. Meowstic doesn't resist fairy type moves. Klefki resists fairy type moves and grass type moves. And I can tell you what, Kartana, at least Kartana, Rillaboom, Tapu Koko, Tapu Fini, and Tapu Lele are going to be extremely popular Pokemon. I don't know about Tapu Bulu, but those other 5, they're going to be very good. And Klefki resists at least one of their stabs, which you can easily switch into, set up a screen, set up a Rain Dance, change the pace of the game. That's why we're using Klefki over Meowstic. Now the final Pokemon we're going to add to the team, this was actually a bit tricky. As you can see, I was planning out a team like this down here, and so you can see this team I was kind of planning out, and I was just looking at the different Pokemon that are going to be good. But you're looking at this team right here and you're thinking, okay, how does it beat opposing grass types? Stuff like Ferrothorn. And that is honestly a bit tricky. You would honestly have to hit them with stabs. I mean, stabs would be just incredibly good. Like stab hurricanes. Like the Ferrothorn matchup with rain is not the best, but there are a couple Pokemon I'm thinking of that could be good for this final spot. Now what this team lacks is redirection, so we could add a Togekiss. Togekiss would tie in nicely because it would give us a follow me user. Also, Togekiss is a Pokemon where, yes, it's defensive because it gets follow me, but it's also an offensive Pokemon because Crit Kiss exists. So Togekiss kind of fills 2 roles in one, having a more defensive supportive Pokemon and more of an offensive Pokemon. While another Pokemon I was thinking about, Incineroar, yes, has that more support oriented crown, but it lacks really that, like, it lacks a lot of offense, which is what I'm thinking for this last Pokemon, or a little bit of mix of both. So what I'm saying is Togekiss. I would use Togekiss here. In this matchup. Now, another thing, I heard in another video that Zapdos might lose Tailwind. So if that is the case, replace or keep Zapdos, but add something like Tornadus, which Tornadus gets a Prankster Tailwind, Prankster Taunt, Hurricane, and it gets Focus Blast if you want to run that for Incineroar. It resists Body Press. Zapdos resist, although Zapdos will be better for the Pharaoh matchup because Zapdos resists all of Pharaoh's moves. I mean, Power Whip, Gyro Ball, and Body Press. So I would say Togekiss is probably one of the better options. Now this is the one I guess the least sure about, but Togekiss is just a good Pokemon regardless, so it can't hurt to have it on the team. But we're looking at this team for rain and we're thinking, okay, how does this team function? Well, the thing about rain teams is you want to get rain up and you want to hit them hard. That's the thing about rain teams. But I like to play rain teams as more of a defensive sort of thing, where you play to a point where you see an opening through the opponent's team, and then you use that opportunity to break and just like get really good positioning, maybe Dynamax break through a lot of their Pokemon. I don't think going super hyper offensive with this team is recommended to me. Like leading Politoed to Kingdra, not a good idea because a lot of people are going to anticipate that. So what I did, and actually how I had success with my rain team is, now I'm not saying this is going to be the case for the rain team that we're building here, but just an example of how you might want to play the team. Because people are going to plan for rain, and it's something that they're probably going to lead in a good matchup against. Like they're probably going to lead like their Pokemon like Primarina, stuff against like that. You can kind of bait those out. You can use the rain core as a bait to bait those Pokemon out, deal with them first, then bring your rain in the back to then clean up. Or sometimes I just did not bring rain at all and had it as a facade. But because the team we're creating today is definitely more rain oriented, that is what I would focus on. So we're going to be going over some items. And some moves. So we're actually going to start up with Kingdra because Politoed, I think it's going to be really tough to talk about Politoed first because Politoed is more of a reactant Pokemon. Politoed, its moveset really reacts to what its team is. You know, if its team lacks speed control, you want to go Icy Wind. If its team doesn't have as much offensive presence, you might want to go Helping Hand. So it really determines a lot about the moves and EVs that we put on our Pokemon, and that really determines Politoed's moves and item. You see what I mean? Politoed's not one of those Pokemon where you're like, all right, I know what this Pokemon does. It's more of a supportive Pokemon. And it gets a lot of supporting moves, so you have to tailor it to your team specifically. So we're actually going to start with Kingdra because I feel like Kingdra is kind of self-explanatory. We're actually going to make this level 15 because that's what it's going to be for VGC. Now, I think you could, moves that you're going to run. Personally, myself, I like running Hydro Pump just because I feel like Kingdra needs it, because Kingdra, it only has base 95 special attack, so you want to hit as hard with this thing as possible, because let's put it this way, base 95 is not a lot. I mean, yes, proven with Coco, you can deal a lot of damage with Tapu Koko, right? With like electric terrain boosted Thunderbolts. But with Kingdra, I mean, you're going to be dealing damage, don't get me wrong, but it's not going to be anything incredible, so having that extra power is good. And also, if you miss a Hydro Pump, most of the time you're going to be maxing Kingdra, and also you have Politoed for potential Skull, which I believe we probably will run Skull because it's a good stab. But we want to run Hydro Pump, and really for any other type of Dragon move, I just really like to go Draco Meteor, just because you are running two moves that can miss, and it does get annoying when you miss them, but that is the risk that you are running. But Draco Meteor provides just that extra bit of power, and that's what Kingdra needs. For those max moves, you want that extra bit of power. Having a move go from base 130 to 140 is a nice boost. And also, if you are able to land a Draco Meteor outside of max, think about how much damage that's going to be doing, rather than a Dragon Pulse. Kingdra to me is more of a it's more of an early game sweeper as a maximum, but it's also a potential late game sweeper as well. So that's why I like Draco Meteor. And the third and final attack move that we're going to run on this thing is going to be Hurricane, because we need a way to hit those prominent, or we need a way to hit grass types like Rillaboom, like Kartana, and like Tapu Bulu. Those are going to be the three that I mentioned today. And also as well, Ferrothorn. Don't forget Ferrothorn. So we are going to run Hurricane on this thing. Now, I know a lot of people do like to run various items on their Kingdra, but I find myself the best Kingdra item to me is just Life Orb. To me, it is Life Orb. I love running Life Orb on my Kingdra. 72% of people agree with me, and I think it is correct. You can run Weakness Policy. I think that's cool. But to me, Life Orb is going to be your most consistent way of outputting damage. And here's the thing with VGC. You can go for the craziest strat that like can 4-0 opponents, but if it's not consistent, it only works 1 out of every 5 games. Is it worth it? Because here's the thing, let's say I put a weakness policy on my Kingdra, but if it only works 1 out of 5 games, is it worth it? Or if I slap a life orb on my Kingdra and I know that I'm getting that guaranteed use of my item every single game, then I get more value. That's how you determine. Consistency in VGC is huge, which is why in my rain team that I use for success, I wanted to be as consistent as possible, because I used Life Orb on Kingdra because I knew I wanted that damage output. I wanted that consistently higher output of damage, and I didn't want to run an item because I knew not running that item would mean I would miss those KOs, which otherwise with Life Orb would have consistently got. Also, actually, I don't even know where I'm going, but you get the idea. You get the idea. So we are going to run Hydro Pump, Draco Meteor, Hurricane, Protect. Gotta have Protect. I think Protect on Kingdra is really crucial because I actually max guarded Kingdra a lot and used it as more of a defensive lead turn 1 and then transition to offense then, depending on it if I set up a Tailwind or whatnot. But item we're going to be running Life Orb on this. Now, some Kingdra, they like to use Modest 252, but personally for me, I honestly am under the opinion of not using 252 because Kingdra is not quite as common, and honestly, not a lot of things are going to be outspeeding Kingdra. What you want to do is honestly just have enough speed to outspeed something like a Pheromosa at max speed. So you're going to be going something like, well, they say 164 speed. 164 speed is what they said they on Pikalytics that they said they want to hit. And I'm just going to calc and see if this is going to be faster than a Pheromosa, because Pheromosa is going to be the fastest thing in the format. So if we can beat the fastest mon in speed at max speed, that's what I'm going to hit for. I'm just going to hit for one speed point higher than this Pokemon at max speed. So we're going to go Tim in here, it doesn't really matter. So we want to hit over 223. Where are we at with Kingdra? So we are at 226. So we could actually go a little bit less speed if we really wanted to. A lot of people are deciding to run. I could actually go 156, which I think I'm tempted to do. Yeah, I'm just gonna hit 156 and make it 125. So we have enough speed to outspeed Pheromosa under rain. We have enough speed to outspeed Dragapult under rain. Now the rest you just want to dump into special attack, give it a modest nature because you want to hit as hard as you can, and the rest you're going to dump into HP just to make this thing just a bit more bulky. And now we're actually going to move over to Rillaboom here. Now Rillaboom is going to be like I said, Rillaboom is really good on this team because number 1, grass is weak to fire. Rain helps with that, right? It just makes it a neutral hit. Also, all the fire types that are going to come back. I mean, Incineroar's Cinderace, Heatran, Kingdra dumpsters them. Politoed's good against them. Klefki sets up screens. Zapdos can be a good Maxmon, and Togekiss can redirect. You see what I mean? They all help support Rillaboom in some way. So the first move you're going to run is no brainer. You're going to run, actually, I honestly like Fake Out on this set. The reason why we're going to use Fake Out is if I had Incineroar over the Togekiss slot, I don't know if I would run Fake Out, but I really think, like, especially if you're striving for consistency, Fake Out is one of the, I mean, there's a reason why Fake Out's good in VGC. It is a consistent item. Another move, or is a consistent move. Another move we're going to use is Grassy Glide. Don't really need to explain what Grassy Glide is. It's just a really good move. But we're looking at this team and we're thinking, okay, well, are we weak to ground, or what are common moves Rillaboom runs? It runs Drain Punch, it runs High Horsepower, it runs Knockoff, it runs U-Turn. So there's 4 moves there that we are going to consider. Drain Punch. What does Drain Punch hit? It hits Stack Attack up, but we have a Politoed, we have a Kingdra, and we have a Klefki for screens that can help deal with that, right? So I don't know if I really want Drain Punch. It can deal with Incineroar. I don't know if I want that though, because Drain Punch isn't really dealing with too much, right? Like, I don't know if I want Drain Punch. I don't think Drain Punch will be good here on Rillaboom, in my opinion. Could be wrong. Yeah, actually, see, only Oh, they run superpower, my bad. So not a lot of Rillaboom run superpower. So I honestly, I'm thinking I like knockoff here, knockoff 100%, because knockoff is super valuable just to be able to get rid of items. Also could remove EV lights as well, so Dusclops wouldn't be as threatening, you know what I mean? And like could be just really good. But do we really need ground coverage? And that's the question. Do we want high horsepower? And what is high horsepower going to be hitting? It's going to be hitting steel types, which like I said, Stack Attacka, Excadrill, stuff like that. It's going to be hitting rock types, which you know, we talked about some rock types. It's going to be hitting fire types, which Rillaboom isn't really meant to deal with. But U-turn, what U-turn does, it allows us to get positioning, and I think that's key. Instead of taking a coverage move, I think here we want to tech U-turn, because weather is all about positioning, and if you can get a move that helps you position, helps you get in a mon that might be good for the desired situation, that's going to make your team so much better. Like I said, consistency. The more consistent you can get out Pokemon on the board that have a favorable position, the more likely you are to win. If you cannot position yourself well with especially position-centered team like Rain, you might not do so hot. So I think honestly U-turn as the last move is going to be very good. Now for EVs, I honestly don't know Rillaboom EVs. I'm going to be 100% honest. But I think something like this looks pretty promising to me. You definitely want HP investment. I think 140 is good enough. You definitely want attack investment. I don't know if I would want full attack. I don't know about full attack, but that's what a lot of people seem to go for. So we're gonna look at full attack, or we're gonna look at, what about, let's say 196. That's gonna get us to 187. So that's gonna be doing a lot of damage. And mind you, this is going to be more of a support-oriented Rillaboom, kind of supporting our team with Fake Out and U-turn. So it doesn't need to deal the most damage possible. And what other EVs are they putting them in? So we see 44, and you want 44 in Spadef. You want investment in Spadef. You want investment in Spadef to be able to take those hits just a wee little bit better. And you can see not a lot of Rillaboom tank put a lot in Spadef, and it kind of shows. So, and you want some in speed. I'd say a good amount of speed is honestly something like 68, because you are going to be able to be somewhat fast and outspeed some of those Pokemon that might not run that much speed at around 80 mark. But that also, you know, that's going to mean after like an Airstream boost, you are going to be pretty fast. So I do like 68. Now the rest, I don't really know where to put the rest in. Should we go more in the Spadef, or should we go more defensive? Now that's a really good question. Now, do people really run defensive Rillaboom? I think they run a bit of bulk in a Rillaboom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to invest more in the defense, and we're going to put the rest in special defense right here. We're going to put the rest in special defense. So that way we have a good HP investment, a really good attack, but we are prioritizing bulk and a bit of speed as well with Rillaboom, which I think is what this mon's built for. So I think that's how I would play Rillaboom, an Assault Vest Rillaboom. Now tell me in the comments below how you would play it, but that's how I would do it. And this is like, I haven't used Rillaboom before, and this is just a general idea. You can tailor it to your team. I mean, if you wanna make this team identical, that'd be great. I'm not going to be testing games with it in this video, just because this video is already long as it is. But feel free to test it, and feel free to optimize those EVs as you will. Now Zapdos, we are going to be running Thunder, Hurricane, Tailwind, and Protect. And Zapdos is weird, because I honestly don't know how people played Zapdos. So we're actually going to look back to 2018, and we're going to look at Zapdos items. Now, Z-Move will be its most popular set, but I honestly don't know how people run Zapdos. I didn't really play 18 very seriously when, you know, I didn't really play 18 very seriously, so there's that. Now, they run Misty Seed, they run Seeds. So considering they run the Manga Berry isn't as good as it was, I'd run either a Citrus Berry or a Seed. Now, considering Zapdos doesn't have the best defense, and we were talking about how this thing is probably going to be used to deal with stuff like Kartana, Tapu Bulu, and Rillaboom, and considering Rillaboom is going to be pretty common, and they're probably going to brain it because we're a rain team, I think, ladies and gentlemen, I think we could go Grassy Seed, because if we do not bring our own Rillaboom, it's pretty likely that an opponent will bring the Rillaboom against us, which means we can then proc our Grassy Seed and get that defense boost to make us that much bulkier. Also, we'll be better with dealing with Cinderace. So imagine we lead Rillaboom. Imagine we lead Rillaboom, Zapdos, switch in Politoed, Dynamax Zapdos, and go for a big max Lightning into the Cinderace. You know what I mean? Or a big max Airstream. There are possibilities there, my friend. So I honestly do like going the Grassy Seed here. I think the Grassy Seed is just going to benefit Zapdos the most on this team. Now, we are going to be running the Hidden Ability Stag just because I feel like you are going to get more use out of that than Pressure. Just because 30% is, in my opinion, somewhat consistent. I mean, not consistent, but somewhat consistent. But the amount of times Pressure would have come into play in my matches, I think only was one match in my entire career. So not really likely. And Zapdos EVs, I honestly don't know. I actually don't know Zapdos EVs. But it looks like they weren't running too much speed. And now that can change from format to format. I mean, it looks like they weren't running too much speed, but if you look at it, look at the top Pokemon and look at what people are predicting to be good. Literally the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. The top 13 Pokemon are all going to be extremely good in the new series. Charizard, okay, not Mega Charizard, but Gigantamax Charizard. So if you want to run that amount of speed, I'd run 76 just so you can speed creep some of the other base 100s with some speed investment as well. I think that's optimal, and you're actually at 130, which is honestly a pretty good speed because I don't know. I feel like some Togekiss actually go just below that, so you're able to then deal with Togekiss better. As far as natures, I would honestly, you want to hit hard with this thing. I'd go modest. You want to hit hard with this thing, but I don't know how hard, because you honestly want HP investment here. You do want HP investment here. I'd say 244, because Zapdos is meant to be bulky but hit hard. So you want to reach that sort of a lot of HP so you can just soak up those hits. And you want to put a significant amount of special attack in, and even some special defense as well. I mean, what are people rocking? 108, 156, 17. Ooh, they're rocking a lot. They're rocking a lot of investment, which is kind of crazy. But not a lot of people are running too much special attack investment, which is kind of funny. So what we could do is we could put 124 into, not 1000. Oh God, no. So we could put 124 to give it some nice special defense, and then we could invest the rest into special attack and maybe put 1 in defense just to make it so we have good special defense, good defense, great HP, and great special attack and good speed. So I'm not going to be calculating for anything in this video. This is just to give you a general rough idea. So we already have half of our team filled out. Now Klefki, we're moving on to Klefki. Klefki is going to be kind of an easy pick for me. We're gonna breeze through Klefki. I think how you want to play Klefki is, I think this thing wants to be, in my opinion, just looking at like what Pokemon are going to be reintroduced. This thing's really not meant to deal with physical attackers anyway, like probably the top tier physical attackers. So I think honestly you're going to want to put more special defense into this thing. So I'm saying put it all HP. I think you want special defense in nature, like calm nature. I think you go like 172 and then invest in defense here. I think this is the optimal excuse me, I think this is the optimal Klefki set, just because I feel like Klefki is meant to take on special hits. I feel like typing wise, it's just more adapt to taking on the special attackers, but you still don't want to fully neglect the defense. So by giving it 84, you're giving it 11 more points in defense there, which is just crucial for Klefki being able to survive some hits there. And for our last move, you could put Thunder Wave, but we already have Zapdos, we already have Talon support, and we have Static, and we have Politoed, and well, we have Kingdra, Swift Swim, and we could go like Foul Play and whatnot, which I am thinking of doing, but to me, I think a nice Dazzling Gleam just to chip is probably better, in my opinion. Now, I could be completely wrong, and we're gonna check on Series 6, and we're actually going to go to Klefki, and we're going to see what Klefki ran. So they actually are running Dazzling Gleam as well, just because I feel like Dazzling Gleam is a much more consistent output of damage. And you'd really, like, this thing's not going to be doing anything major. It's probably going to be doing like 12-15% to a Pokemon. But that little chip can help put it in range of KOs from all of our other Pokemon. Like I said, Eevee said, you're really running dual screens, Rain Dance, and Dazzling Gleam on this thing. Alright, so we're getting down to the wire here with this video. So we're going to be actually looking at Togekiss here. And for a Togekiss, I could go more of a defensive Togekiss here. Which I was looking at our team, and our team is weak to Urshifu. So in a way, I do kind of want to make this Togekiss defensive. And for the sake of this video, so I don't have to like stress about EVs, I am actually just going to use the Togekiss that I used for my Rain team, that I used in Series 5. It's a defensive Crit Kiss. So we're just going to be taking a look at this Crit Kiss. Now, the reason why I use defensive Crit Kiss is so I could deal with Rillaboom better, Incineroar better, and Urshifu better. So it's 224, 196, 12, 16, and 60. Alright, so 224, 196 bold. So it is 224, 196 bold, 60, 16, and 12. I think 60, 12, and 16. I think this is how the EV set went, and we're going to put this to level 50. So this was more of a defensive Togekiss. Defensive Togekiss, I think, is pretty good because you still get that option to go for huge critical hit damage. But you, actually, I'm going to change this a little bit. I don't want this to be as defensive. I think just having just enough defense is good, but I actually want definitely more special attack here. I want to make this more of an offensive Togekiss. But I do want it to have some defense here. But we are going to make it scope lens as well. Just because I feel like Togekiss here should be defensive, so it can be able to tank some hits, but I do want it to exert some offensive pressure because Togekiss is honestly a nice Dynamax Pokemon, and we wanted to have offensive pressure on this team because Dynamax Togekiss benefits his team immensely. I mean, even if you don't have Rain up, you can still boost Kingdra's speed, you can boost Zapdos' speed, you can boost Rillaboom's speed, you can boost Politoed's speed. Really good. And the moves we're going to be running standard, we're going to be running Air Slash. I'm going to put Dazzling Gleam first. We're going to be running Dazzling Gleam, Air Slash, Follow Me, and Protect. Togekiss is always good in this format for being able to redirect those hits. And, you know, Urshifu is going to be a main one. You know, some of those, like Cinderace is going to be good. It's just a really good redirector. And I was debating whether to use a Mungus, but then I realized that would make us extremely weak to Ferrothorn, to Kartana, to I was just checking a notification. Really to Kartana, to Tapu Bulu, to Rillaboom. So Togekiss offers redirection, but also helps out with that matchup. So the final Pokemon we're going to go to today is Politoed, and that's going to wrap up this video. And I hope this video was helpful, just kind of giving some insight to how you might want to run a Rain team. So obviously you want Drizzle on Politoed, and you're going to run Scald. You're going to run Scald, and you're going to run Protect. In my opinion, those are two of the best moves it gets. But there's a lot of other moves Politoed gets that people want to use. Now, Politoed, it gets Parasol, which in my opinion on this team, I don't I wouldn't use Parasol. I feel like Parasol is used on those sort of trick room teams where they use Politoed, they use Porygon 2, they use Corviknight, they use Rillaboom, and they use like Alolan Marowak. Those sort of teams that you saw a little bit. I personally like something. I like something like this. This is what I am thinking here. I am thinking of a Scald Ice Beam Helping Hand Protect set. This is what I'm thinking of. Call me crazy, but I feel like Ice Beam is going to give some really good damage output, and at least it allows us another way to hit Amoonguss as well. I think it's just going to be incredibly good. Protect, Scald, and you could run Icy Wind, which, excuse me, first speed control is better. So I am actually going to switch out to Icy Wind. I think Icy Wind for speed control is better. Just because speed control, just like, even if you don't have a Tailwind up, you can still whittle down your opponent. I think on the Politoed, we're going to be running... That's tough. Do we want to... There are two items I'm looking at. I'm looking at Citrus Berry because that gives us extra bulk. And I'm looking at Rindo Berry, which allows us to live Grassy Glides. And I think allowing us to live Grassy Glides is good. So I think I'm going to go Rindo Berry. I could change on the feature, but allowing us to live Grassy Glide could allow us to get an extra Icy Wind or Helping Hand off and just be supportive in general. So I do like the Rindo Berry there. And Politoed, it runs very defensive. You're going to be running max HP. Like I said, max HP. You're going to be running Calm here, just because this thing is more suited to take on special attackers. Like the physical attackers it can take on, like Incineroar and Landorus, it already has decent matchup against those, so that's why I feel like Calm is the preferred nature here, especially because our Togekiss is already defensive. And I do like this EV spread just because it kind of gives you a general overview of everything. Actually, I would make it actually more specially defensive, so I'd switch maybe the 76 and the 172. So we're gonna give Politoed 76 defense. Oh, actually, no, I do like this set better. Excuse me. We're gonna give him 172. 76 here, just to give it just all around good bulk, and we're going to give it 4 in special attack and 4 in speed. This is just a really solid set. It just allows Politoed to be bulky on both sides of, or both ends of the spectrum. It's going to be good. It's going to be decent defensively. I mean, look, it has 250 or it has 197 HP. Along with 117 defense, and it has 143 special defense. Very good Pokemon. So I went in depth today talking about how you might want to approach building a rain team for the Crown Tundra DLC and for Pokemon VGC 2021. Now I went in depth here, and that was my goal, to go in depth. I didn't calculate anything. That's for you all to do, because we could sit here and run calcs for hours. What I am here to do is give you an explanation as to why I chose these Pokemon, how they fit into the team, how they work with one another, and how they will benefit your play, how to run these Pokemon, to synergize them, to be able to create a team that can combat the threats that are going to be coming in this format, because I think Rain will not be as good as it was in Series 5. That is my honest opinion. That's my honest opinion. But I think Rain still holds a very niche place coming into this format, this new format that we approach. And who knows? I probably will pilot a team very similar to the one I literally just built. I might ladder with it soon. Who knows? And I hope some of you pick up on the team and ladder with it as well, because I think it's a really cool team. It has some really cool Pokemon. Klefki is some Pokemon that you do not see often, but it really fits on the team. Zapdos is going to be cool. So I look forward to people trying to use this team, because I think Rain does have an option in this meta. And so Rain is a team that I know a lot about, so I hope I was able to give really good input in today's video, talking about why you would use why you would want to use this Rain team. Just giving an overview to the team and talking about stuff you have to be careful for, because I played Rain. I know what stuff you have to be careful about. I know what matchups you have to play carefully around. One thing I did forget to mention, Dracozolt matchups are tough. So just play like an absolute god and you might win. That's pretty much Rain. Like, it's gonna be tough. But I could sit there and talk a lot, but honestly, I hope you guys took a lot away in today's episode. I really honestly hope you guys just learned a bunch and honestly had some fun looking into the potential team for the Crown Tundra. And honestly, I think this team has a bunch of potential, and I'm so excited to probably use it myself. But anyways, hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, smash the like button down below. Smash the like button down below if I can speak. Really helps the channel out. And subscribe for more future content, because honestly, we're really pushing this content. And we've been actually gaining some traction. So like I said, my goal is to get to 100 subs by November. If you could help that goal, that'd be absolutely fantastic. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. And my name is Glade, the best VGC player in the entire world. Not really, but let's just say so. And I am signing out. Peace out.